Welcome back, guys. This is our lecture turn. Okay, so we know how to find our way to desired directory in terminal. That what if we need to create a file or some folder in an other directory? How can we do that? At first, let's open up our terminal. And by the way, another way that you can open terminal instead of right clicking and going open terminal here is going up to this icon which says terminal emulator and clicking on it. By default, this will be inside of your home directory, which we know this sign, and if we type the pwd command, we get /home/ Miss Hacker directory. We know that our desktop directory is also inside of this directory. So let's go there. cd desktop, press enter, and now we are in the desktop directory. Let's get back to the files. To create the simple empty file, we can use a command called touch. If I simply type touch file and let's call it file1, press enter. This will create a file name file1 and it will have no contents inside of it. We can also see that file1 has been created as it is right now on our desktop. Since we create it inside of the /desktop directory, and if we also type ls, we can see that the file is in our desktop directory. To make sure this file is empty, we can use the command cat, and this command once execute on the file writes out all the contents that are inside of that file. Let's try it out. So we specify cat and then file1, press enter, and this will give no results since as we already mentioned that touch command create empty files. If you want to, for example, put something inside of that file, we can use a command echo. You just type it like this echo, and to put something you specify after that echo. Let's say today is a really good day. So we specified an entire sentence, and all we need to do put this sentence inside of this file is we specify this arrow to right, and after it specify the name of the file that you want to put this sentence in. And if we cat it once again with the cat command, so cat file1, we will see that now it outputs exactly what we written to the file using the echo command. Okay, that's all good, but there is an easier way and more practical way to do all of this. You can use a text editor to write things inside of a file, and an easy text editor that we can run from terminal is called Nano. So let's try to do something which is that using Nano. If we type Nano and after Nano comes name of the file that you want to add, and since we want to edit a new file that we haven't created yet, for this just type name, let's call it file2 and press enter. This will open this empty window and we can type anything we want. We can type file content here and it can be anything. We can type, for example, text here, but we could also type code if we wanted to. Let's start with text first. Let's write just hello world as a text. To save this, we press Ctrl O together, then enter to save under this name, and then Ctrl X. X is the Nano attribute. If we now type cat and then file2, and by the way we can notice that file2 has been added along file1 on our desktop. But if cat file2, we can see the output of hello world. So we managed to do it using one tool which is Nano instead of using two tools which are touch and echo. But also mention we can do the same thing with programs. For example, how can we create Python program using Nano and terminal? First, we need to open a file. So let's type Nano and then file3.py. And in this case, we add .py because that is an extension for Python programs. Then inside of it, after pressing enter, we are going to run a simple command which is print and then hello world between the quotes. And you will see that some stuff changing colors This is because the nano editor recognizes this as a Python program. What we did right here, ran a simple function that we print out the string that is in between the quotes. So this will just print out hello world. Let's save it with Ctrl O, then press enter and Ctrl X to exit. And luckily for us, Python is already installed in Kali Linux. So all we need to do to run this program is to type python 3 and then the name of the file, file3.py. Press enter and the program will execute. Here it printed out hello world. Cool, right? We will also notice that the icon is different than these two icons. This is also once again because this is recognized as a Python program. It even has the Python icon. Now that we know how to create files and execute Python programs. Next question would be, how can we create directories? To create a directory, we can use the command mkdir, which stands for make directory. To check it out, let us run mkdir and name a directory folder. So press enter, and if I type ls, we will see that we got our files as well as the directory, which is different color and it is called folder. Remember, we differentiate by color, and also if we change directory to the folder, it will work. It will even give us the path of /desktop/folder. Great. In that folder, you can do pretty much anything you want. You can create subfolders or create folders, whatever you want to do, you can. To move, for example, our Python program from the desktop directory to our folder directory, we can use command mv, which stands for move. We must first navigate back to desktop directory. Let's do this using cd and then two dots. To go one directory back, and from it we run the command mv file3.py into the folder. So we specify move, then the second grammatory is what we want to move, which in our case is file3.py, and last grammar is where we want to move it. We want to move it inside of the folder. So press here enter, and you will notice that the file 3.py disappeared from our desktop directory. We can also check that by typing ls, and notice that our Python program is no longer here. But if we go to the folder directory and type ls here, we will see it here because we moved it. Here it is file3.py. Now this is the handy command and we will use it a lot. Besides moving the file, we also want to see how we can copy file, and we can do it using this cp command. This does the exact same thing as move command, but it doesn't move it from original directory to desired directory. It just copies it. So let's try to copy file3.py and call it file4.py. If I type cp, which stands for copy, file3.py, and I type file4.py right after it, this will create an exact copy of other file in the same directory. If I press enter and type ls, here it is, we got file3.py and file4.py. If you want to change whether they are exactly same, we can cat the content file3.py and cat the content of file4.py, and we can see they're both the same Python programs. And last command that we want to cover regarding files is a command rm. This commands delete files and directories, and let's say we try to delete file4.py, that is our copy on our Python program. We can do it by typing rm and file4.py. Now be careful with this command, since once you delete the file, there is no trash bin, it is gone. If I type enter and type ls, you will see our file4.py is no longer there. Okay, but how do we delete a directory? let's first create a directory inside of our folder directory, and to do that we type mkdir and let's call it folder 2. Folder 2 is a subdirectory of our folder. If I type ls, here it is, and let's see, we did create this directory by mistake and want to delete it. Can we use rm folder 2? Well, you can try it. Cannot remove folder 2 and it will tell us that it is the directory. So how do we delete it? Well, we will remove it in the same way we remove files. We just add an option at the end of the command. So type rm folder 2 and then at the end add space and then dash or press enter, and this will delete our directory. Also double check once you deleting with this command, since if you go cover /directory, which is directory containing all folders and files in the system, and if you were to type for example in the directory rm, then in the star sign and then dash or, this command will delete entire Kali Linux machine with all of its files. So always pay attention what exactly are you deleting in Linux and from which directory are you deleting. Since inside the Linux you will not be stopped in deleting anything you want. You can easily delete crucial file for the operating system and make your Kali Linux machine unworkable. That is also reason why we are practicing with virtual machine. So let's, oops, I actually ran this. You will notice that the results of this command, if I type ls now, our folder is completely empty. So I actually ran this by mistake, and keep in mind that if I actually ran this from this /directory, which is our original directory, I will delete in Kali Linux system. For now on, it is good since I only deleted our Python program. So it is not a big deal. Okay, great. We learn bunch of the commands in this lecture. Now I got the practice test for you, which you can try to do for the next lecture. Inside of our folder directory, since I deleted my Python program, I wanted to create the file3.py once again. You can type anything inside of it. You can use the print hello world statement that we use, and what we wanted to do using the commands you learned in this video.